All right. Okay, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Okay, yesterday, let me put this on. Yeah, recording is on. Okay, yesterday we finished our lesson at a concept. Basically, it was use of prime factorization, and I was trying to develop an idea that how factors, multiples, LCM, HCF, they overlap with each other, their concept, and how can we use them in very different ways. So the last thing which we did yesterday was, um, if I talk directly, it was the application of prime factorization. I gave a number and it was, I guess, 60m. Yes, it was 60m. Okay, so the question was 60m is a square number. Find smallest possible value of m. Find the smallest possible value of m. Okay, before we jump off to the question, let me show you if it's still there. Yes, it is there. So I gave a couple of numbers which were 36, 144, 25, and 16. All these were square numbers, and I asked to do the prime factorization for these. तो इन सब की prime factorization की, और prime factorization करने के बाद I wanted you to notice something about it कि जब भी आप इनकी prime factorization करेंगे, you will obtain group of squares. Like even if this is 2 power 4, you can write it down as 2 square into 2 square, and then 3 square. 25 is 5 squared. 16 is 2 power 4, which I can write it down as 2 square into 2 square. So you obtain basically the group of squares. Now the examiner is telling you that 60 multiplied by m, not 60 just alone, 60 multiplied by m, whatever that number is. So let's say that number is a. When you multiply these two numbers, you get a number a. This number a is basically a square number. Then he's asking you to find the smallest possible value of m. Now, first of all, let's talk about the smallest possible value, which I mentioned yesterday. If maybe some students they go about it like m is 60 because 60 times 60 is going to be a 60 square, which is definitely a square number. But that is why he has mentioned it very clearly that he doesn't want 60. He wants the lowest possible value of smallest possible value of m. And in order to do that, what we did the prime factorization of 60. When we did the prime factorization of 60, we realized that 60 is basically 2 squared into 3 into 5. Now, 60 alone is not a square number. 60 multiplied by m means there is a number which is being multiplied with m, and this number combined is a square number. Now, in order for this, now we need to decide the value of m. We know the property of square numbers in terms of prime factorization, that when we do the prime factorization of a square number, we get prime factors in squares. So 2 is already a square here. So this is set. We don't need to change or introduce any new number there because our focus is to keep our number as small as possible. We can put 2 square, we can, but our focus is to keep our number small. Okay,
So the
now
screen is blurry again.
screen is blurry.
Is it me or is it the problem with the phone?
Uh, yes, the rest of the students, can
It's
you see the
fine.
screen? It's fine. Okay, let me ask someone else. Javeria,
Sir, it's blurry.
it is blurry. Okay, so just give me a second. Let me clean the lens of the camera. Maybe it helps. What about now?
So it's not the lens, it just keeps getting blurry and then comes back.
Oh, maybe it is because I
Now
am
now it's
moving,
fine,
so
yeah.
it's trying to adjust the focus. Maybe.
Mhm.
है ना? Okay. Hello. Okay, 2 squared, 3 into 5, and then we have something blank over here. Now we need to put a number here so that we obtain group of squares. Why group of squares? Because 60 times this number combined is a square number. So that is why our end product should have their prime factors as squares. So this is going to be, if I put 1, 3 here, so this 3 and this 3 combined together is 3 squared. I have one 5, and if I put another 5 there, so this 5 and this 5 combined together is 5 square. Now, if you look at the complete number overall, 2 square, 3 square, 5 square. So we have the group of squares. So therefore, the number m is 15. Got it? So this was basically one of the applications of prime factorization, and not the application. It was to give you an idea, uh, more than an application, that how you can like think out of the box and use your skills in different manners. Got it? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
And then we can apply the same concept on a cube numbers. Cube numbers will always have their prime factors as a group of cubes. That's what we did in our last lesson. Okay, so our today's target was basically standard forms. Whenever you have a very large number or whenever you have a very small number, ठीक हो गया? जब या तो बहुत बड़ी वैल्यू आ गई है, like for example distance from here to the sun maybe, and even in centimeters, so it is going to be a very huge number. Or for example, if I ask you to give me the diameter of your hair, आप अपने सर का बाल बता रहे हैं, उसका डायमीटर दें और किलोमीटर्स में बताएं वो कितना है, so it is going to be very small number. अब इस तरह के नंबर्स के लिए वी हैव स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म्स. सो स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म की जो आइडेंटिफिकेशन है हम उस पर फोकस करते हैं. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू take you through the bookish definitions. First of all, there are a few important things which you need to know. A number will be, uh, this is how the apparent structure of a standard form is. You have a number here, and then there's a decimal, and then there are maybe a couple of numbers ahead of it, and then into 10 raised to the power of any particular number. Okay, so this number is going to be any integer, not fraction. Integer as in plus minus 1, plus minus 2. Okay, right. So now I'm going to take you to the definition. According to the definition, a number is in standard. In order for a number to be in standard form, there should be only one digit. There should be only one digit to the left of decimal. There should be only one digit to the left of decimal. And that's not it. And that one digit should be non-zero. That one digit should be non-zero. So basically a single non-zero digit to the left of. Non-zero means other than zero. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up till 9, because these are single digit. After 9, we have 10, that makes two-digit number. So one single digit to the left of it, and that should be non-zero, without zero. So we can have any number from 1 to 9 over here. बाकियों की टेंशन नहीं है, whatever number you want to put over there, that is fine. और इसकी भी आपको कोई टेंशन नहीं है, इंटीजर होना चाहिए, तब वो आपका नंबर जो होगा वो स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म में होगा. एक बात, फिर एक सिंपल इंडिसेस की अब हम बात करते हैं. इफ यू डोंट सी a power of 10 with any particular number, for example I have 2, 3, 4, 5.789, and that's it. If you don't see a power of 10 here and the examiner asks you to write it down in the standard form, it's understood by using the laws of indices. Can I write into 10 raised to the power 0? Yes, because 10 raised to the power 0 is actually 1. and I'm multiplying this. One is a multiplicative identity, means if I multiply one with any number, it maintains this identity, it doesn't change. So 10 raised to the power 0 is, so if there is no 10 raised to the power 1, I can 10, if you cannot see 10 raised to the power any number, then you can put 10 raised to the power 0. If you cannot, if that's not given. Next, if you do not see a decimal in a number, if you do not see a decimal in a number, then what does it mean? Where is the it's at the very end over here, okay, on the right of 1. So these are the three important rules. In the beginning, I told you how a number in a standard form apparently looks like. Now, these two things I told you because when we are converting an ordinary number into a standard form, we will be definitely playing around with the powers of 10 and the decimals. So that is why you need to know if there is no power of 10, then you can put 10 raised to the power 0. And if there is no decimal, if you cannot see a decimal, it means it's right at the end. Now moving towards the rule. I'm going to write down the rule here. Remember the rule. I'll tell you the mathematical reason later on. But first of all, remember the rule. Whenever you move the decimal to the left, whenever you move the decimal to the left, the power of 10, it goes up. The power of 10, it goes up. It increases. Whenever you move the decimal to the left, the power of 10 increases. And whenever you move the decimal to the right, the power of 10 will decrease. Now, this rule can be applied vice versa. It's not that you need to move, you will be moving the decimal only. Sometime you may be changing the power of 10 and it will have the same effect on the decimal. So if you move the decimal to the left, the power of 10 will go up. And if you are increasing the power of 10, the decimal will go to the left. Okay. Now, if you are moving the decimal to the right, because of that, the power of 10 will decrease. And if you are decreasing, if you are the one who is decreasing the power of 10, then because of that, the decimal will move to the right. So this is the rule which you need to remember. Now let's see. I'm going to start off with a very basic example. But before we jump there, first of all, tell me if you have any question, any problem. No? Okay. Online students, any questions up till now?
No, no, sir.
Okay,
No,
great.
sir.
Next, for example, 2345.642 into 10 raised to power 11. This is a number. Is this in standard form? Okay, recall the definition of standard form, like recall how the standard form actually looks like. There were two conditions. One was about a power of 10. Yes, it is there. What was second condition? Yes, there should be only one digit, non-zero digit to the left of the decimal. Over here we see the decimal. How many digits do you see on the left of it? Four digits. Okay, so clearly this is not in the standard form. If the examiner asks you to write this number in standard form, so we will be moving the decimal to the left. So we are going to move the decimal now. Now let me take you back to the definition and the rule. One digit between, like from 1 to 9 to the left of it. Okay. Now in order to convert a number like any number into a standard form, we will make sure that it fits in this criteria. Now in order for this number to fit into this criteria, I need to move the decimal to the left because this is here we have the decimal. For this number to be in standard form, the decimal should be between 2 and between 2 and 3. So in order to bring the decimal here, I'll be moving it to the left. Now the rule says When you move the decimal to the left, what happens to the power of 10? It goes up. How much up? That depends how many digits you've moved. So let's say this is where you're starting off. Please count the digits I'm moving. 1, 2, 3. So in order to write this number in a standard form, I have to move the decimal 3 spaces to the left. So this is going to be 2.3456642 into 10 raised to the power 11 was its original power, 3 spaces to the left, so the power will go up by 3. So that is why I am adding 3 into it. So this is going to be 2.3456642 into 10 raised to the power of 14. This is a number in standard form. Clear? Clear? Yes, online students.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, now let's just do another example. For example, you have a number 0.000005234, and that's it. It could be, for example, it could be the diameter of your hair, for example, but it is so small that it is very hard for us to read it. Now, we want to read this number properly. So instead of saying zeros multiple times, we will be converting this number into a standard form. Now, what was the definition of a standard form? There should be one digit to the left, and that digit should be non-zero. We have one digit, but it is zero. So that's the problem here. So another thing, do you see any power of 10 here? No. So I'm going to introduce one, which will actually, which will not change the number. Whenever you do something on your own in mathematics, remember, always do it in such a way that it should not affect the number or the equation. So I'm multiplying it with 1. Okay. So 10 raised to the power 0 is 1. Okay. In order to write down this number in the standard form, the decimal should be between 5 and 2. So in this case, I'm moving the decimal to the right. Now you can count the spaces. So I'll be moving by how many digits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to the right. So I'm moving a decimal to the right. What happens to the power of 10? It decreases, it goes down by that many digits. How much was this? 6 spaces to the right. All right, let's convert it. So 5.234 into 10 raised to the power 0 was its actual power. Now I'm decreasing the power by 6 units because I moved the decimal to the right. So decreasing, in order to decrease it, I'm going to subtract it. So 5.234 into 10 raised to the power minus 6. Now the same number is written in the standard form. Clear? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good. If you have any questions, please ask. Okay, I'll leave this information here for you because I'm going to give you a couple of questions for you to practice right now in the class. Okay, I'm giving you different numbers which are not in standard form. You need to write the numbers in standard form. Okay, so the first question is 23.42 into 10 raised to the power 6. Shabash. Start. Everyone do it. I will ask randomly the answer for it. If you cannot read any particular question, please do ask and make sure you are practicing it. Otherwise, these classes are of no use.
Sir, the screen is blurry. I can't see the powers. That's better now.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah.
I think when I'm in front of the camera, this autofocus feature is on. So it tries to keep me in the focus. Today after the class, I'll look into it and turn it off. Assalamu alaikum, Parisha. Parisha, I gave these questions. Uh, I've given these questions which are not in standard form. I've given a task to write them in standard form. If you know it, fine, go ahead. Um, I'm sure आप कर लेंगे इंशाल्लाह. क्या है इसकी? जीरो? जीरो होगी ना? तो लिखे जीरो. अगर कुछ नहीं है तो वो वन होगा फिर. If you don't put anything, it means it's one. If it is zero, put it up. And if it is zero, then there is no need to write 10. So this is it. I hope you're done. Anyone
Yes,
who is
sir.
still struck. Okay, so I'm going to quickly write down the answers. I hope you all got the same ones. Okay, for this one, I need to move the decimal one space to the left. So the power of 10 will go up by one. So this is going to be 2.342 into 10 raised to the power of 7. In this case, I need to move the decimal 3 spaces to the right, so the power of 10 will decrease by 3 units. So the answer is going to be 2 into 10 raised to the power of minus 9, and minus 3 is minus 12.
Sir, can we write it as 2.0 times 10 to the power
Yeah,
minus 12?
yeah, you can write it down like that. But the zero at the end, as I stated earlier, is sometimes significant and sometimes it is not. There was no zero here. So if you introduce your zero on your own, then it becomes a significant. But over here, we are not looking into significant figures. So even if you write it as 2.0, that won't be considered as wrong. It will be correct. Okay. 4.3428 into 10 raised to the power of, okay, I'm moving the decimal to the left by 2 units, so that power of 10 will go up by 2 units. So minus 23 plus 2 is going to be minus 21. Okay. This is already in standard form, isn't it? Okay, this one. So I need to move the decimal 2 spaces to the left. So this is going to be 3.452 into 10 raised to the power of 2 spaces up. So minus 2 plus 2 is 0. There is no need to write 10 raised to the power 0. So this is your final answer, 3.452. Clear? यहाँ तक समझ में आया that how to convert a number into a standard form? Okay. Now, sometime examiner asks you to do the other way around. He gives you a number in standard form and he asks you to convert it into an ordinary notation. Now, this number written here, these numbers written here, they're not in ordinary notation. They're not in standard form, neither in standard form, they're not in ordinary notation. Ordinary notation has a power of, when we talk about 10, it has a power of 0. So this number here is technically in a standard form as well as in an ordinary notation as well. Standard form when we look into the decimal point of view, but when we look at the power of 10, you can say it's an ordinary notation. Okay, so for example, if I give you a number 3.42 into 10 raised to the power of minus 3. This number is in standard form. Examiner asks you to write this number in an ordinary notation. I need to, okay, remember, अब एक ही रूल है ऑर्डिनरी नोटेशन का, 10 की पावर क्या होनी चाहिए, 0. माइनस 3 को मैं 0 कैसे बनाऊंगा, +3. माइनस 3 को मैं 0 कैसे बनाऊंगा, +3. +7 को मैं 0 कैसे बनाऊंगा, -7. So getting my point? So -3 को मैं +3 करूंगा, मतलब I am adding plus, I'm increasing the power of 10 by 3 units. So what happens to the decimal when you increase the power of 10? The decimal moves to the left. So it will go to the left by how many spaces? 3. There is just one digit. What should I do now? I can add zeros. Very good. So that's one digit. It needs to go 3 digits. So I have to put 2 more zeros. So I'm not counting this. Okay. 0, 0, 3, 4, 2. Got it? The decimal was here first. यहाँ से उसने 3 spaces पीछे आना था. 1, 2, 3. So here's the new decimal now. Because why 3 spaces backwards? Because I'm increasing the power of 10. If the same number was in this form, 3.42 into 10 raised to the power of 4, and the examiner asks you to write down this number in an ordinary notation, again we need to make the power of 10 as 0. Now how am I going to make this one 0? This is +4. इसको मैं 0 कैसे करूंगा, जवेरिया?
-4.
Very good. -4 कर देंगे. So when -4 means you are decreasing the power of 10. When you decrease the power of 10, Usman, what happens to the decimal? Where does it go? To the right or to the left? When I'm decreasing the power of 10.
Right.
Right, excellent. So 4 units decreasing. So how many digits to the right? 4 digits. I have 2 digits here, but I don't have any further digits, so I will add zeros. So 3, 4, 2. So from here, 2 digits, one more and one more, total 4 digits. So this number is actually 34,200. Okay, now as you have studied the standard forms, you may be thinking, what is the purpose here? Just to connect it with physics. Yeah.
Sir, isn't it moving 3 spaces to the right?
Okay. Sorry. I'm taking question from the class here as well. Yes, come on, go on. Okay. Yes, I think isn't you were asking something?
Sir, isn't it going to move 4 spaces to the right?
4 spaces to the right. Yes, it is. It will be 4 spaces to the right. This was the original place for the decimal. Like original location was between 3 and 4. Now start counting from here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's basically at the end. When there is no decimal, it means it's right at the end. Okay.
Okay.
So here. Acha. So I was saying that, okay, now very good. You've told me right that this is how the purpose of these standard forms is. In your physics, you may have studied the prefixes as kilometers, centimeters, millimeters. So there are few powers of 10 as standardized as prefixes. Okay. So for example, 10 raised to the power 3 is referred as kilo. Okay. 10 raised to the power -3 is referred as uh yeah, it is milli, like millimeters. We use these prefixes with different units: millimeters, centimeters, kilometers, decimeters, picometers, terameters, mega. Okay, from mostly we use in our technology as well, gigabytes. Okay, megabytes. This is the spaces of the bytes, like this file size. So it is actually coming from the standard forms. Okay. Okay. Now in exam, talking about Cambridge exam, you get one, two, three, four different types of questions. One, you've done it already, like examiner gives you a number which is not in standard form, and examiner asks you to write that number in a standard form. ये clear हो गया one type of a question. So if you get this type of question in exam, will you be able to do it?
Yes.
Yes, online student. Okay. Next type of question is examiner gives you a question which is in standard form and he asks you to write it down in an ordinary notation. Will you be able to do that as well?
Yes.
All right. The next two type of questions, which we are not going to do today, but let me just give you a forecast what we'll be doing tomorrow, and that is very important. ये जो दो टाइप के क्वेश्चन आज हमने पढ़े हैं, ज्यादा ये पूछता है. This one is rarely asked, but I have seen questions like this. It gives you a number in standard and they ask you to write it down as ordinary notation. कम पूछता है. जो इससे भी ज्यादातर मोस्टली 99% जो क्वेश्चंस आते हैं कैम्ब्रिज में, what they check is that how to add, subtract, multiply, or divide the numbers written in standard forms. So basic arithmetical operations on the standard form while the number is written in the standard form. um, IGCSE में आपको पहले तो कैलकुलेटर अलाउ होता था, अब नहीं है. जो अभी जिन्होंने कमिंग मई जून 2024 में पेपर देना है, यस, उनको कैलकुलेटर दोनों पेपर्स में अलाउ होगा. बट उसके बाद जो आईजीसीएसई के जितने भी एग्जाम्स होंगे 2025 ऑनवर्ड्स, मतलब इंक्लूडिंग 2025 एज वेल, उसमें कैलकुलेटर एक पेपर खत्म हो जाएगा। अब जिसमें कैलकुलेटर अलाउ होता था तो उसमें स्टूडेंट्स क्या करते थे, इसको कैलकुलेटर पे ही कर लेते थे, अपना आंसर निकाल लेते थे। तो अब फिर उन्होंने पिछले 2-3 सालों से कैलकुलेटर के में ऐसे क्वेश्चंस देना शुरू कर दिए जिसमें 10 की पावर इतनी बड़ी होती है कि आप उसको कैलकुलेटर पे कर ही नहीं सकते। फॉर एग्जांपल 2 into 10 raised to the power 234. Your calculator does not have the capacity to handle this large number. So basically there are 234 zeros ahead of it. तो कैलकुलेटर हैंग हो जाता है या वो एरर दे देता है या कुछ भी आंसर नहीं देता। तो अब फिर वो उनको कहता है जिनको ऐड सब्ट्रैक्ट मल्टीप्लाई डिवाइड करें। So that is why it is important to know the basic skill, that why it is important to know that how to add it, so add subtract multiply or divide manually without using calculator। तो वो हम देखेंगे इसको इंशाल्लाह tomorrow। Okay, that's it for today। If you have any questions please ask, otherwise I'm signing off। Any questions?
Sir, did you make the Teams group?
Okay, I'll be doing it over this weekend, actually, because I'm waiting for to see who is actually interested in these classes. If you're still not in the demo process, once you're over with the demo process, then inshallah. I'm not talking specifically about you, but there are other students who are into a demo process. So once I have the finalized list of the students, then inshallah I'll go for it. Okay.
Okay.